Good morning, fifth graders. Welcome to our next week of learning. Um, Before I get started with your assignments for today, I want to show you one thing in Google Classroom. Let's say that, actually, let me log in as a student so you can see the student view. Just because it's harder for me to turn your work or return your work to you if you do not do this step, so I just want to show you one thing. Okay, so if you are in Google Classroom, and let's say I'm going to turn in an assignment, let me just pick a random one, like the interview from Friday. If I go into my assignment, on any assignment that I am doing, sometimes the turn in button will be here. You can also do it back here, but when I'm completely finished, after I'm like completely done and I'm ready for Mrs. Brissett, like if I was going to go turn it into the turn-in bin, go ahead and click the turn-in button. That will allow me to have access to your assignment. And then when I do some comments on it, I can press return and it'll give it back to you. But do not press the turn-in button until you're done with the assignment. That gives us a couple of hiccups. Okay, so let's go back to your assignments for today. And it is already the 20th, yeah. For math, we have some coordinate plane games for you to play. So you can either go to IXL and do the coordinate plane games, which is this whole section. So you can choose any of those. You can also do this Stock the Shelves game. That's online if it wants to show up. So this game is here for you to help the employee get the shelves stocked before it opens. And then there's also this coordinate playing game or set of games. So any of these are also up for grabs in terms of playing coordinate planes. But it's just to help us to practice our skills that we've learned so far in coordinate planes. So play any games that you want. I found some access to puzzles from our religion workbook and thought it might be just a nice change of pace. So you have to allow the Adobe to work so that you can have access to the puzzles. This is the outside view of like if it was a puzzle box, obviously. And you can drag and drop them, and if you want to turn them, you just have to click the arrows on your keyboard and it can rotate any direction you want. So there are 5 puzzles for you to work on. If you would like to do those puzzles, that is an option for you today for religion. For reading, our story is called Lewis and Clark, and your activity today is the vocabulary activities. So your slides are here, and you've got just matching the word to the antonym, and then filling in what the word, where the word fits in terms of this activity. Although that doesn't look like the one that I was thinking. So just worry about slide 1 and I'll get rid of slide 2 for you. I must have put it in the wrong format again. You do have a student workbook here starting at the vocabulary pages for your Journeys textbook. So you're welcome to check this out, or you can open up to this page in your textbook as well. Oh, well, I guess it didn't save the correct page. Lewis and Clark is lesson 25, which is unit 5. So vocabulary and context in your textbook starts on page 748. That you can get the vocabulary cards to help you for your activity today. For writing, go ahead and continue whatever step you're on. For your research report, I have lots of extra days in here built in because of the pacing of this, especially if you want to spend more time on research. It's just kind of a broad timeline to be already on the draft today. So if you're ready to start drafting, that's fine. But what I would recommend, I think the majority of you have already had your topic nailed down. You have your list of 15 questions, and you've started to research or you are continuing to work on research. If you do finish that, your next step was to start the outline. And what you're actually going to do is go ahead and type in the sentences for each part of your paragraph directly into this outline template. So for your introduction paragraph, I do have a page that talks about what each of the sections are, because back here you have attention getter, background sentences, and a thesis statement. If you're like, what on earth are those in the introduction paragraph? Don't remember from our persuasive essay, you can come into here and look at them. So for the attention getter, I have the definition as well as an example paragraph, and it says the attention getter is highlighted in purple. So if you want an example of an attention getter, you can come and look at my example paragraph. So you need to work on developing your actual draft with this outline of, and type your sentences directly in here. You're also going to want, before you get really going in the outline, you're going to need to figure out what main topics you're going to use for your body paragraph. So what are 3 main topics for your research that you could use as body paragraph topics? So maybe you could choose how your topic works. How do you make a piece of paper fly through the air? What are some of the hows? You could do a paragraph on who was involved in the science behind developing gravity. Who would be a good paragraph? It just kind of depends on what you researched. So if you researched a lot about history or lifestyle or whatever else, it really is depending on your paragraph. But you want 3 main topics to organize your body paragraphs. One thing I will say is do not choose fun facts as a topic. I want this to be a research focused, and fun facts isn't necessarily as specific as I'm looking for you to be able to do. So pick 3 main topics and then go ahead and get started on the introduction paragraph. I do have a page for each paragraph, so all of your body paragraphs have a resource page too. Your second body paragraph, your third body paragraph, and then the conclusion paragraph has its own thing too. So you can go ahead and click into those to help. So your outline is probably where a lot of you still are. If you finished the outline last week, you can start developing your draft. If you did not finish your outline, continue with this and stay here until you're done. Whenever you finish the outline, after research, then outline, and then you're starting your draft. Some of you might take until middle of the week before you're done with your outline. That's why I left this whole week as drafting, so you can have a little flexibility. But what you're going to work on is developing a rough draft from your outline. And you have your entire paragraph here. All of your paragraphs are written out in pieces on this outline. You just have to put it together into a draft. So, some resources that I have for you for your draft. I have a checklist, like we usually do. So for your research report, here's a bunch of things that you should have at the like in general for your checklist, and then paragraph by paragraph, what should you see for that like what specifically should be in your introduction, your body paragraphs, as well as your conclusion paragraph. So make sure while you're reading or writing your research report draft, you keep this in mind. There are some resources here linked in. I also included your rubric. So the checklist really goes through in detail all of the rubric components, but I wanted you to have the physical rubric in addition to that. So here's your rubric that you'll be graded on as well. And then also, like I said, feel free to check back. Each of these pages have the example at the bottom. So here's an example conclusion paragraph that I would accept as good, and you can use that for your example when you're writing your draft and taking your outline and putting it into paragraphs. So when you go to draft, one last thing, I do have your research report draft linked into this assignment. So go ahead and click on the research report draft and type your rough draft here. That will help so that I don't have a million of documents shared. It just stays within this assignment. So if you can do that for me, that would be great. But like I said, focus first on finishing your research and your outline, and when you finish that, switch to a draft. I have lots of flexibility in this week built in so that if you don't get to the draft until the middle or end of the week, that's fine. Focus on your research and your outline first. For spelling, we've got a packet for you to complete as well as the list. You're welcome to go to Spelling City on my website as well. For social studies, we're talking about how Texas became part of the United States today. We have some guided notes for you to fill in the blanks. And the presentation that I would have given, including the information that you'll need, is right here. So the one that says guided notes, that's for you to complete. The other one is for your reference in terms of getting the information for the slides to complete it. And we're going to wrap up the lesson from last week in science with this lesson check. And anywhere you see blue, you're going to want to type in there. So that way I have that. If you complete this on the computer, you don't have to tear out these pages in your workbook. If you decide you want to do these pages in your workbook, you will need to tear them out and turn them in for Friday. Okay, I think that's everything for today in terms of your lessons. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Like I said, the draft, I have the entire week as the draft for your research report, and I'll start editing with you on Friday or throughout the week if I see that you're done. But just go at your own pace and work your way through. And let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. Have a great day.